Welcome, everybody, to the Colorado Rapids podcast presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. Drew and I were going to break down the Rapids' return to MLS play for 2026, kicking off their season at Lumen Field against the Seattle Sounders, and then look ahead to the home opener here at Dick's Sporting Goods Park against the Portland Timbers. Let's get into it. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Colorado Rapids podcast presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. I'm your host, Mike Ravolo, alongside my good friend and Rapids legend, Drew Moore. Drewby, podcast number 2 of season number 3.
Yeah.
Dude, we're thriving.
I love the podcast.
I love it, man.
I hope you folks enjoy it as much as we do creating them, because we get to come in here on Tuesday mornings and immediately start talking Rapids. And I don't know, I really enjoy that. Like regardless of results, regardless of which we're going to get into that, but it's just fun talking Rapids to me.
Yeah, bro. I love. I get too into the weeds sometimes, so it's like I kind of have to rein it in a little bit. So this is like a very fun sort of personal project to kind of like hop on and just like rant about Rapid soccer, basically.
Yeah, and I feel like you do that. You get into the weeds because like we both care. We like we invest a lot of time and energy and love into this club because we want to and we enjoy it. And so yeah, sometimes we break it down all the way to the nitty gritty.
But it's fun. I know I get a lot of joy out of doing it.
Good.
Like I could pick your brain for like an hour and a half, but I know you'd be 2 minutes into. You're like, can you leave me alone, Mike? So that's So of course, Drew and I obviously have a phenomenal time doing this every week when we do, regardless of results. And hopefully you guys do as well.
Yeah,
we try to make it fun
for sure.
Emphasis on try.
Yeah.
Drew, how was your weekend, bro? We kicked off MLS to start, but outside of that, the fact that the MLS season has kicked off, how was your weekend?
It was good. Wife was got away for a little bit, which was good after I was gone for about a month for preseason.
Yeah.
So it was just me and the boys, and we watched more MLS this weekend than probably soccer I had watched since the end of the 2025 season. It was awesome. It started at like 12:30 on Saturday. As soon as I got home from training, as the guys were traveling away, MLS was on, and it was on until Sunday night at about 9:30 p.m.
Yeah.
When the first half finally ended at 9:30.
I know. We'll get into that a little bit. Not too much, but it was just nice to have MLS back. So I didn't travel with the team, so I was just kind of spoiled in terms of sitting in my apartment, just sitting back, relaxing, watching almost every game I could.
Same, yeah.
Because my family's the same way. Like as soon as MLS gets going for the weekend, that's all they do for the rest of the day and for the rest of the weekend, because they're that entrenched. So that's probably where I got it from. But fun. It's just nice that we're officially back as a league,
for sure,
and especially with such a big year with the World Cup coming to the States and Canada and Mexico and all. Like,
what a year!
It's just a really, really awesome year of football to look forward to, and particularly in MLS. Though.
Yep.
So very, very exciting. Having said that, Drew, like I said, we did kick off our season, the Rapids in particular, doing so at Lumen Field against the Seattle Sounders. So I'd say, do we want to get into the preview? Let's get into it now. Not the preview, just recapping the match.
Yeah, let's recap.
I'm getting ahead of myself here because we're going to preview the Portland match. So we can get to the recap of the match between the Seattle Sounders and the Colorado Rapids, where that took place on Sunday, away from your typical Saturday afternoon or evening kickoffs that we have. So it was nice to kind of like take the spotlight.
I like the Sunday night game.
I didn't mind it, man. It felt like a nice occasion, especially at a place like we talked about. Lumen Field is a cool place to play. See the guys making that long walk for processional before kickoff. But we'll get things started here at the 15th minute, where Paul Rothrock here for the Sounders, keeping the ball in, doing really well to do so, whips it into the box. Albert Rusnak finishes with his head.
Too much time and space for both Rothrock and Albert Rusnak, and Rothrock does well here to keep this ball in play, but you can't let Rusnak wander into your box and have a couple guys a couple yards away from him, because that's exactly what he's going to do.
And then take us into the second half here. Early in the second half with the 46th minute, Zach stepping up here with this routine save, coming off left-hand side attack from Seattle. But again, Zach making a routine save there. That'll take us into the 62nd minute, Drew, where Paul Rothrock, already with an assist to his name after coming off the bench for Jordan Morris, who was hurt early in the match. And here you can see Seattle attacking from the right, put that ball in, and then Paul Rothrock, first time goal and an assist on the night.
A little bit of unfortunate for Harrington, as he does well to make himself big, but the deflection goes right in the path of Rothrock. And a goal in transition is something that we're going to be talking about here when we preview the next match coming up. A little bit of a dagger, that goal. Bright spot, Alex Harris. He wreaked havoc when he came into the match, showed a lot of energy. Got some things started in attack. Good opportunity here in injury time. And he was highlighted by head coach Matt Wells after the match as a bright spot and somebody we might see get a few more deserved minutes moving forward. But yeah, difficult result, Mike. Difficult result at a tough place to play. Not the way the Rapids will have wanted to start, obviously. But there were some things to build off of for sure as well.
Yeah, for sure. Looking at the match stats here between the two sides from that Sunday night match, Seattle had 43% possession versus Colorado's 57%. Total shots, Seattle had 15 versus Colorado's 8. Shots on target, Seattle had 5 versus Colorado's 3. And finally, on corners, Seattle had 8 corner kicks versus Colorado's 4 on the night. Drewby, straight into it. I'll just ask you for your thoughts on that match, what you made of that match for the Rapids season opener at Lumen Field against the Sounders.
Yeah, not the result or really even overall performance I think anybody wants to see, right? And I think what I'm reminded of and what I kind of take away is that this is still a process, right? A new coach coming in with new principles and ideas that were worked extremely hard on and focused, with great detail on in preseason. It's going to take a little bit of time, right? And what I love was Matt Wells' post-match presser and the honesty that he showed that you have to be ready to go, right? And the words that the kind of the 3 main words that stick out in my head that he kind of kept going back to in every answer was identity, mentality, and conviction, right? And you can have all the principles ironed out and nail your tactics in each phase of the match. But if you don't walk into that stadium like a gladiator going into the Colosseum in Rome, like a lot of those principles and stuff aren't going to matter, and I think we just lacked that from the start on Sunday night. And that's something that everybody needs to work on. The players, the staff, myself, even you, Mike Rivolo, is to make sure that we're ready to rock and roll when that opening whistle sounds with our hearts, with our mentality. You got to be ready to go and fight first and foremost, and I think we lack that from the opening whistle, and Seattle pinned us back early, and it's difficult. It's a difficult place to now go and kind of come out of that shell a little bit. And they punished us for it. But I love the honesty from the gaffer, and he held himself accountable first and foremost, which I know you want to point on. There were some moments to build off of. I thought the second half, some of the changes, some of the subs that came on changed the game a little bit, which was good to see. But this is a process, and I'm not letting the team off the hook by any means, because it wasn't the performance that we want to see. But I have a sneaky feeling that Saturday night we're going to look like a very different team because of the honesty that came post-match. And I imagine the locker room was, there was some honest words in there as well afterwards. And that's what fills me with some promise and some hope that Saturday night's going to look very different here at Dick's Sporting Goods Park than Sunday night did in Lumen Field.
Yeah, after watching Matt's post-game press conference after that match against Seattle, it was he didn't mince words.
Mm-hmm.
He did not hold back by any means, but not to say that he was being derogatory or throwing the players under the bus. No, if anything, he was the first to raise his hand and say, this falls on me. Like, I'm the one who's leading these guys and giving these guys the direction that they need to execute the game plan and the style of play that we have. So that falls on me first and foremost as Matt Wells, the head coach of this club. And then from there, telling and mentioning the players needed to step up in various ways, be it mentally, physically, or whatever, right? But he did point out a multitude of things there. So, but it was refreshing to see because that's the leader taking accountability for something that he fell short on and maybe didn't put the players in the position that they needed to be to succeed. Mm-hmm. But I like that just because it creates that sense of accountability. Coaches the players, obviously, because at the end of the day, the coaches are the ones who decide the starting 11, who comes off the bench at some point. But even players to coaches, I would say, Drew, where
for sure.
I think it keeps the coaches honest as well in terms of if they expect the players to execute certain things, they have to provide that clarity to the players, which we know for a fact that Matt Wells and the coaching staff do. There's nothing but clarity with the style of play and how he wants to go about it with the players.
Absolutely.
But you're going to have days like that against Seattle where things are just not clicking. Things are not coming off the way that you would want for exactly as you want, right? That happens in any game on this planet, quite frankly. But if there's little things that you can do as a coach, as a player, whatever, as staff, to kind of minimize some of those mistakes or minimize some of those issues you run into, that serves as like the basis to work off of. So it was just refreshing to hear that from Matt, being very straightforward with what he thought of the players' performance overall, the team's performance on the night, but be the first to raise his hand and taking accountability with that. It was, not the performance we were exactly looking for, but at the same time, there was some bright spots, I think, in there. There was one that comes to mind, but I wanted to go to you, Drew, in terms of who some of the guys that you thought stuck out during that match against Seattle, despite how particularly the first half, how very tough start that match was.
Yeah, the first half there was no flow. It was difficult, right? There was the goal disallowed, which took a long time. There was the red card, whatever. They rescinded it, right? Rightfully so. And it made for a very choppy first half. It was like a 65-minute first half,
Have the guys made it back from Seattle?
I know, seriously.
I was wondering.
But no excuses, obviously, because of that.
Yeah.
But I think there were some glimpses of what Hamzat can do, how he can buzz around the pitch. Dante Seeley showed that, he's got some power. He's got some directness. I don't think the gaffer was pleased with his performance, and I don't think Dante will be pleased with his performance, but you can see some glimpses of what he can do on that right side with that left foot, right? The player that stuck out, and we talked about it in the highlights, was Alex Harris. He came on and changed the game and brought a lot of energy and nearly scored a goal. That's great because he had a very good preseason as well, right? And Alexis Mangioma comes on and changes the game and shows, some very bright moments, trying to get the team back in it. I thought Keegan did well when he came on at right back. So there were certainly some bright spots and some things to build off of. But finding that balance between, executing the style of play and bringing the mentality is going to be key moving forward. But you certainly saw some glimpses of it from some of the players. And, will we see some different players start on Saturday night? We have no idea. But certainly, as we said, the gaffer said in his post-match presser that and showed that he's going to be willing to rotate if that's what it takes to get the most out of players. And Alex Harris showed, when I step on the pitch, I'm going to try to make a difference. And so he was the biggest bright spot for me on Sunday night.
Yeah, Matt, specifically cited Alex in that post-game presser saying, and he mentioned that he had that conversation with him in the locker room after the game and said, the shirt's yours. Like the spots, depending on how you do in training, the shirt is yours for next weekend if you do well in training next week. So Alex Harris, who hadn't really featured much, very rarely for the first team last year, but with it being his first season with the club, mainly with R2, so you'd be a little more familiar with him with some of the minutes and time that he'd spent with R2. To step up from that under a new head coach now, who he's the bright spot of in a very difficult game, in a very difficult setting, in a match where things you felt like didn't really go your way in many ways. To go from that to be the guy that sticks out amongst the rest of the group is huge credit to Alex for
sure.
The work that he's been doing in preseason to have that come together and show some of the really bright moments that he had when he came off the bench in the second half. I think he could have pulled 2 yellow cards from some of those Seattle players when he started going trans. There's one he got, I know, and then I think one on the flank, if I remember correctly, where he just got away from players. Like he just dribbled away from them. It was fun to watch. The late chance, he was just unfortunate, I would say. Like Andrew Thomas, I think, was fairly fortunate to get that block. So Alex Harris, that was. But it was very much a standout performance. Very excited to see what he can offer for the first team moving forward, because there's plenty that he showed on the night with the minutes that he had there.
Yep.
Anyone else that stuck out to you, Drew? I was gonna say, but like it was nice to see like some debuts in there. It was with MLS debuts and there was a mix of like MLS/Rapids debuts and whatnot. So Lucas Harrington, who was MLS and Rapids. We had Hamzat, as you mentioned, Hamzat Ojidiran. Dante making his Rapids debut. It was just nice to see some new faces in there, kind of feature for the club and kind of set the base or like get their feet wet, if you will, and just hopefully get moving forward from there.
Absolutely, and I think you have to have a deep squad, and because it's a grind MLS season, and Wayne Frederick comes on after missing a little bit of time towards the end of preseason. Good to see that he's healthy, and he had a fantastic preseason. As well, so getting him some minutes is important, and I think it'll be interesting to see, how the week of training goes. Obviously, Matt is big on, if you're performing in training during the week, you have a very good chance of starting at the weekend. So that'll be interesting to kind of keep an eye on and see. Obviously, we're still 5 days away from Saturday afternoon, but I will be interested to see what the 11 looks like against Portland.
Yeah, for sure. Just to close out on the recap from that Seattle match, unless you had anything else, Drew, the one thing that you mentioned, and I'm going to emphasize here, is that it's a process.
Exactly.
So this is something I actually mentioned in La Previa. This is a Spanish preview I do with Mauricio Jaramillo from Telemundo, and that's something I had mentioned myself as well, because this is something that's going to take time for everyone, right? So I think back to Matt Wells when he had a media availability during preseason, mentioning that at first when I was introducing some of these concepts and the style of play and certain things he was looking for, that it was a little foreign to some of the players initially. But credit to them, and he said they responded. They've been doing really well and executing really well on basically everything that I've been asking of them. And we with our own eyes, especially you working with the coaching staff literally every single day during preseason, you know exactly what it takes, the effort, the preparation it takes to be able to execute on this style of play under Matt. We've seen it when it looks really good. We've cited it last weekend, the scrimmage against Orlando. If you haven't seen those highlights, that gives you a real sense of what exactly Matt Wells is looking for.
It does.
And obviously Seattle didn't play out that way, right? It just didn't. There were some moments that you could see, oh, maybe there's a little something there. But as Matt said in his presser, that that's not who we are. And if anything, moving forward, that we're not going to let that happen again, and let people see what the Rapids are really meant to look like, and how dangerous they can be, how aggressive they can be, how dominant he wants the Rapids, Matt wants the Rapids to be. So again, I will emphasize the fact that it is a process, right? That's not a cop-out to say, we can get away with this loss against Seattle.
Agreed.
Because if you're asking me, I go into a Seattle, I go into LAFC, I go to any match and thinking we want to go win. And I think the players and the coaching staff would tell you the same. But again, it is going to be a process, considering how demanding, how different this style of play is under Matt, and what he asks of everybody on the pitch, from goalkeeper all the way to the number 9. So it'll take a little time, but it's very exciting to see where it's going to go. Again, like I said, we've seen it for ourselves, what it can look like. It's very exciting to see what this team could look like under Matt.
Agreed. 90 minutes in of a long process. I think Saturday, like I said, we're going to see a different team, and 180 minutes in, we're going to feel even better than we do right now.
For sure. Yeah. For sure. So take what you need to from that Seattle match. Flip the page, move on.
Let's go.
Because we have another game
coming
up Saturday. Yeah, it's a new week. Plenty to look forward to there. So moving into Around the Club, to that news segment that I mentioned last week, that we're going to be kind of going around like some little news pieces just to keep you folks aware of not just what's going on the pitch with the Rapids, but also off the pitch. Any sort of like community initiatives, anything regarding food at the stadium. Ooh, hint, hint, wink, wink.
I like
right?
food.
I love food. Yeah.
Don't we all?
I just think back to all the what was it, the pork missiles? What did you call the hot dog? Is that what you call it? I remember there was one game you just downed, and I think you were stuck on that probably for the whole 90 minutes. So just Around the Club this is a new segment that we have for the podcast here, so that you guys are aware of just everything that is going on at the Rapids outside of what's going on the pitch. So, with an on the pitch matter, particularly in this one. So the first bite that we have here is regarding Sam Vines, the homegrown left back for the Colorado Rapids, who was waived by the club. That was announced over the weekend. This, like I mentioned with Cole last week when he departed the club, right? This is another guy that if you're an academy kid with the Rapids, you look at as a reference point in terms of seeing a clear pathway to be able to go from the academy to the first team, and what Sammy has contributed to the club as well in his time ever since he'd been a part of the first team, and we got to have him ever since his academy days, right? So with Vines, we certainly wish him all the very, very, very best. Like we talked about before, man, it's part of the business. It's not fun.
Right.
And especially when you get to know these people, know these guys as people, right? Not just as players, but as people. Yeah. It's always difficult to kind of see these decisions being made. But this is the business, and it's as unfortunate and difficult as it is what it is. Unfortunately, I hate to kind of put it that way, but that just kind of is what it is. So with Vinesy, we certainly wish him the very, very best moving forward with his career. Yeah,
and I'm sure he's gonna, he'll get picked up by somebody. He absolutely should.
Yeah.
But I think again, this is another one for me. I played alongside Sam, and he wore the number 3, which was awesome. So it's always hard to see your buddies go, and whether you're a player or now a coach, or even in your position, Mike, who you do 100 different things. But you get close to these guys, when we're on the field, when we're off the field, when we're traveling, it's tough to see him go. But Vinesy's going to go and have a positive impact at his next squad. I have no doubt about that. And the club will move forward and wish him all the best, of course.
Yeah, wishing the very, very best. Nothing but the very, very best for Vinesy as he moves ahead with his career. Like I kind of teased earlier in terms of potentially new food, new beverages come to Dick's Sporting Goods Park.
Talk
So
to me.
I'm just going to read this off just so I'm not like messing anything up because I have a tendency to do that. So we're bringing 5 local food vendors here to Dick's Sporting Goods Park for match days.
Local,
in
let's
terms
go.
of food options. Yeah, I love local. Just be
Yeah.
able to support local businesses or have them out and about so people can't support them themselves. So we have the Burgundy Bites value menu, a fan-friendly menu featuring stadium staples such as hot dogs, pork missiles.
Yeah,
So
there you
I think
go.
pork
There
missiles is
you
the
go.
correct
I
term.
don't know
there.
why it says hot dogs, but
Pork
okay.
missiles,
I don't know what that
hot
is.
dogs in all reality, popcorn, pretzels, bottled soda, and water, and select snacks that will be available to purchase for $5. So I don't have some of these.
Basically free.
It feels like it.
Yeah.
So I don't have some of these names off the top of my head. This is on me for not making a note of it. With some of these vendors and the food that we're bringing, if I am not working, I'm meant to be working on match days. If someone cannot find me, there's a high chance that I'm at one of these local vendors eating this food because
Miles,
producer Miles is saying the same thing. Like if so, I guess if any of the staff goes missing on a match day and like wondering why they're not doing their jobs, just go to one of the local vendors because they're probably snagging some of that food. So yeah, which is very exciting, Drew, because like as kind of funny and silly as that sounds when I say that, but it's like exciting when you have like new food options when you go to a sporting event because sometimes you feel like it can be very standard or stale. This
Not
is very
here.
exciting. Not
Not
here.
here.
Not at Dick's Sporting Goods Park. So very excited to bring the Burgundy Bites value menu on top of the fact that we're bringing some local vendors with some quality food.
I'm gonna be
Maria's Empanadas. That's actually now that I'm remembering. Sorry, again, I should have made note of this. Maria's Empanadas is one of them. That's probably where you'll find me. I think if there's any vendor, that's probably the one that you're going to find me at. So if you find me filming the match. During the match, and I'm just chowing down on an empanada. It's gonna be
just
a mess.
a crumb trail to where
So,
Rivolo's dinner.
if I'm not gonna have the time, so I will be down to have people send me empanadas as well. Just throw them at me up
throw
pitch
it,
side. Just throw it.
Peg Mike with an empanada. He'll pick it
I
up
won't
off
be
the
mad.
grass.
I won't be mad. No, I will not be mad. I will be thrilled that people are throwing empanadas at me. That's the weirdest statement I've ever said in my life. Anyways, the last news item that we have here from around the club is the fan forum. So fans are invited to be able to take part in the fan forum here. We want to hear from you guys in terms of your thoughts on the club and where you see things going and just in general. We just want to hear from the fans in general.
Or the podcast.
Right. Yeah. And we just want to hear from the fans. That fan forum is actually happening the day of the game against Portland, which is the home opener this Saturday. That is taking place at noon at Dale's Bar, so that is at the south side of the stadium. If it helps, I was like the video board is always my like kind of North Star, if you will. So if you need to like look out to the mountains or particularly the video board in the stadium, the video board is the north, Dale's Bar is at the south. So head to the fan forum if you guys would like to at Dale's Bar noon the day of the game against the Portland Timbers, the home opener. That's going to be Saturday, February 28th at noon. The fan forum at Dale's Bar. That's about it that we got for around the club.
A little directional wizardry there from.
Or bring a compass. I don't know, man. Like
the mountains are always to the west.
Yeah, mountains are always to the west. Video board always to the north. You know, there's a few things don't change.
Yeah.
So, all right, that'll do it. Oh wait, sorry, I had one more thing. I got ahead of myself because I'm too excited to look ahead to this
Oh, we
Portland
got
game.
some theme nights.
Yeah, we got some theme nights.
Come on.
Quite a few theme nights, right? So I'm gonna riff these off, just read them off because, like I said, I have a tendency to mess things up. So starting off with April 18th, Drew.
Oh.
April 18th. If you haven't circled that, circle it on your calendar. And if you did, circle it a few more times because that's going to be the 30th anniversary match against Inter Miami. So Messi and co. will be coming to Denver. That match is taking place at the Denver Broncos Stadium at Mile High. Find a way to get to that game, guys, because it's a very rare opportunity to be able to kind of witness a match like that with a player like that in Lionel Messi. I would say probably the greatest player to ever play the game. So an opportunity to see someone like that, and of course catch your Burgundy boys, and at Mile High, which is that'll be a cool occasion, man. Like if I memory serves, first match ever in Rapids history was at Mile High as well.
Yeah.
So kind of very full circle that we get to have our 30th anniversary match there at Mile High, and doing so against Messi and co. against Inter Miami. Next, in terms of theme nights, let's keep this going. May 23rd is the summer kickoff series. So we'll have fireworks, and that match is against FC Dallas. So hopefully kick off summer with a win against FC Dallas. August 1st, Colorado, the state of Colorado's 150th birthday, so we'll have fireworks as well.
Yes.
When there's a summer in Colorado at Dick's Sporting Goods Park, there's fireworks, bro. There's always fireworks, and that's going to be against Austin FC.
Light the sky up.
August 29th, Rocky Mountain Cup. That's a biggie. That's another one. If you haven't circled on your calendar, circle it and circle it again and again because that is a very, 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 very big match.
It's my dad's birthday too.
Hey, shout out happy early birthday to Drewby's dad, to Rapids Legends' dad. September 19th here, Noche Latina against Seattle Sounders. So hopefully we can kind of repay the favor that they gave to us on the first night of the MLS season. October 10th, Little Rapids night versus San Jose Earthquakes. October 31st, finally, is Fan Appreciation Night. That'll be against the Chicago Fire. Can't remember the last time we played the Chicago Fire here, or even in general. It's been a minute. Granted, they're in the East, right? So we're not always going to play them.
Yeah, but still.
It's been a minute.
It's before 2020.
Yeah. It's been a minute.
That's crazy.
Wow. We're going to have to go way back, like Stone Age kind of, to remember when we last played Chicago.
Okay. Stone Age. What, because I was living then?
I didn't say that.
There
You
it
did.
is. Yeah. I said the joke for him. Y'all knew it.
I love when Viejo tees me up for this stuff. All right, so that's
You teed me up for that.
It's a mutual effort.
Come
there.
on, let's
Yeah,
move on to
yeah.
Portland.
All right, moving on now to the match preview against the Portland Timbers, and that's going to be the home opener for the Colorado Rapids here at Dick's Sporting Goods
Home
Park.
opener,
Drew,
love
I'm
it.
Excited, Drew. Like I'm really excited.
Afternoon as well.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
I love
How
an
much better could it
afternoon
get
match.
with 3 points? That'd make it. That would top it all off. But
that's the cherry on
that
top.
would top it all off. But yes, so that match is the home opener for the Colorado Rapids here at Dick's Sporting Goods Park for the 2026 season. That is happening Saturday, February 28th, 2:30 p.m. Mountain Time kickoff. It's an afternoon kick, and I think the weather's meant to be pretty good.
Yep.
So far, so good. So every reason to come out to Dick's Sporting Goods Park to watch your Burgundy Boys and take on the Portland Timbers. I mean, like I always say, you can watch on Apple TV. Just come to
Get
the stadium,
here.
guys. Like, just come to the
Get here.
stadium.
It's going to be awesome.
And just for a reference point, so if you guys haven't been on the MLS Apple TV platform lately as it pertains to MLS season pass is not a thing anymore. So you get MLS matches with an Apple TV subscription, which is pretty streamlined and straightforward,
Yeah.
I would say. And I would say it's a very obvious homecoming for a certain Cole Bassett as well, who just recently, within the past few weeks, made his move to the Portland Timbers. Will be coming back for the Rapids home opener and get to play in front of the Colorado faithful. His hometown crowd.
He'll probably have a little extra fire as well.
I think there will be.
Yeah. I always felt that when I returned to places.
I'd
So
imagine.
it'll be good to see him, though.
It'll be very nice to see Cole. A very, very, very familiar face that'll be coming with the Portland Timbers to take on the Rapids here at Dick's Sporting Goods Park. A team comparison, Drew, looking into this as we get into the preview here for this match. Colorado's on one loss after the loss at Seattle. Portland in a wild game against Columbus. They got the 3-2 win with goals from Felipe Mora, Anthony, and Ariel Lassiter. And they looked pretty good, Drew. Like, there were stretches where it was very back and forth in that match between the Portland Timbers and Columbus Crew. Like I said, for the neutrals, a fun game to watch.
Yeah, it was.
I was very tuned into that match, particularly to see Cole watch him play feature with his new club. He got the assist for Anthony it was Portland's second goal. And he looked good. Yeah, I think that was the Cole Bassett that we know, everybody knows is what he's capable of, whether it's picking up second balls, driving the play of field, assisting. Although he didn't score, but we know he's capable of that. Cole very much like Cole in that game against the Columbus Crew for the Portland Timbers. Portland Timbers, Drew. What can we expect of this side? Which I don't think has changed much, but I want to hear from you. What can we expect from this side?
Yeah, they haven't changed at all. I feel like they still are a team that thrives on chaos, and that's exactly what Phil Neville, their head coach, said after the match. He said, I forgot the direct quote, but it was basically, our preseason has been extremely chaotic, and that's when we're at our best. And they showed that on Saturday night against Columbus, which was a very entertaining match. It was a match I was really looking forward to. I like it when kind of the bigger matches are a team that you're about to play very soon, because even more reason to focus on it. But Portland are ready to go in transition at a moment's notice, right? And with Antony, with Velde, with Mora, with Kelsey, with Cole Bassett now, they are ready for you to be careless, to be loose with the ball, and they're going to take it and go and try and score every single time they go in attack, right? Whether it's on the dribble, whether it's through good passes, whether it's just kind of throwing numbers forward and just overwhelming you with some pace and some directness. They haven't changed at all, and that's exactly what I imagine you're going to see on Saturday night. Again, Phil Neville thought that it was a fantastic performance from them. There are certainly ways to get after Portland, in particular their back line, because of the fact that they want to go in transition and attack so much. You can get stretched out. It puts a lot of pressure on their back line, but they have not changed at all, and you have to be ready for that.
Yeah, very dangerous team on the night, on their day. They can blow away any team in transition. That's something that hasn't changed. I think back to like a Gio Savarese, like when they started really playing under this. Transition can kill you in that sort of game. If you're careless, they'll punish you. So let's get into opponent player to watch through. Who on the Portland Timbers are you going to be mindful of? Who do the Rapids need to keep an eye out on their side?
I'm going to take the combination in midfield between Cole Bassett and Diego Chara, right? Because I think those two balance each other off extremely well. And Phil Neville said after the match that Cole was probably their best player, right? And he is a link between the back line and the attack, right? And he's very good at that. And I think with Diego Chara now, the immortal Diego Chara, who doesn't seem to age, if anything ages backwards, is still showing that he can get around the pitch. He can cover incredible amounts of mileage during a match. And we know that Cole can do that as well. That balance between those two it's going to be key to try to break that up a little bit and be prepared for two players who are going to try to run the midfield, And so I think if you're able to, take that aspect away from them, make sure Cole doesn't have too much space because he's going to drift around a little bit, and Diego Chara kind of parking himself in front of the back line allows Cole with some of the freedom to move around and pick up the ball in the half spaces and launch attacks from that. That's key to Portland's attack. And so, again, making sure you're keeping an eye on those two and limiting what they can do is going to be key for the Rapids.
Yeah, like we mentioned, we know Cole very well. We know what he's very capable of, but it's another thing to try to stop it, right? Well, as we saw, for those who watched the match on Saturday night, or at least we saw in that match, that was Cole being Cole, like in terms of everything that he does offensively and defensively on both sides of the ball. So to have that balance out with someone like Diego Chara, yeah, very, very dangerous duo there. That I think very pivotal duo. I think for the Portland Timbers, where if you can kind of limit them or kind of get them out of the game, that's where you're going to find some success as the Rapids. On my side, with the Rapids, who I'll be looking out for on the Rapids player to watch, it's going to be a few here. So it'll be the goalkeeper and the center backs. Zach Steffen has played, so I'd imagine it could be Zach Steffen, but you never know sometimes. But my Rapids players to watch are going to be the goalkeeper and the center backs. Reason being is that these guys are going to be very responsible, not just to do the defensive side of the work that they do, right? So whoever's in goal, blocking shots, center backs, same thing, or preventing attacks from moving further towards the goal to limit those shots on goal, right? Those chances on goal. But also kind of quarterback the rest of the group, right? So goalkeeper to center backs to the rest of the team in terms of keeping that shape, especially on rest defense. Because as you mentioned, Drew, earlier, with what makes Portland so dangerous is the transition. That's the main part of their game, or the most dangerous aspect part of their game. If the players are not fully tuned in, if they don't keep that shape, Portland can punish you literally in seconds. You could be attacking their goal 1 minute, and then 10 seconds later they go the other way and can score. So if the Rapids are mindful of their shape, particularly with the goalkeepers and center backs, like I said, quarterbacking the rest of the group to make sure everyone is where they need to be, on regardless of whether they're in possession or not, that's going to be very vital for the Rapids to, at the very bare minimum, limit the chances Portland is going to have on goal, let alone go and put the pressure on them and hopefully find some goals, find some opportunities to put Portland under, especially here at altitude, because we know coming here is very difficult for any team really to try to manage that, especially as the game goes on. So as the goalkeepers and center backs kind of keep everybody in check, I think everything will kind of play out very favorably for the Rapids as the game wears on. Agreed.
Again, with Portland not changing, with Portland still being Portland, your rest defense, your communication when you have the ball, and limiting them, having big stretches of field to run into, green space to run into, professional fouls, tactical fouls, just being physical in general. And that starts with the communication from your goalkeeper, but also the communication and physicality and demand on your center backs are given the rest of the group will be key against Portland, as it always is, for sure.
Yeah. Very tricky again, like we said, because it's just Portland is so dangerous on transition, man. How many years have we been saying that? But they're so on their day, they are so good at it.
They are.
Let's go into keys of the match, Drew. We'll start off with you with what's going to be your key to the match for the match against the Portland Timbers.
I think straight away, and because, as you just said, Portland is so dangerous in transition, you can limit that by how you attack, right? And I want to see personality in attack from this group that we didn't see, I feel like, until the latter stages of the match in Seattle, right? Directness, taking guys on 1v1, right? Making some tough decisions to, go press high, take the ball, and have, as short of a field as you can to attack. But really just showing how dynamic you can be. This is a Rapids attack with and we don't know who's going to play. We don't know who's going to start, obviously, but just to name some players, Dante Seeley and Darren Yappy, Hafa Navajo, Paxton Aronson, right? Like, those were the 4 starting guys in attack, and I want to see them be more dynamic and more energetic in attack, right? Get the rest of the bodies up the field as well, and if you show, get crosses into the box, take some shots, take guys on 1v1, try little combination plays in attack. Put Portland and this back line, who can get separated from their front group quite easily because of the way they play. You're going to have opportunities to do that, and you got to go and show some character and go and actually do it. And I think if you're able to do that and then go and finish your attacks deep in Portland's territory, whether it be shots, making the goalkeeper make saves, scoring goals, goal kicks, throw-ins deep in Portland's territory, then you limit, again, their transition attack as well, but you're creating opportunities for yourself. You're creating confidence for yourself, and go show some personality in attack that maybe you lacked, especially in the first half against Seattle. Go do that against Portland, and I think you set yourself up extremely well. And so that would be my main key to this match for the Rapids. What about you, Mike?
Yeah, on my end, my key to the match was going to be just mentality, staying focused throughout the 90 minutes. Listen, that's applicable to really any match, right? That you want to have that focus for the 90 minutes for any match that you go into. But my key to the match in terms of being mentally focused for this match is just because of the shape in particular. I kind of alluded to this previously with it's going to be important for the Rapids to keep their shape, particularly rest defense, right? Because we talk so much about the Portland Timbers transition game, right? Where it's as good as anybody's in the league. So being the rest defense and just I would say the shape in general for the Rapids is going to be so key to be able to limit what the Timbers can do, particularly in their transition game. And even outside of that, right, if the Timbers find themselves in possession of the ball, closer to the Rapids box, they're within their 18, limiting some of the runners and the space that the Timbers are going to be looking for at any point, whether it's in possession or going in transition. So for everyone on the Rapids to just be mentally tuned in throughout the 90 minutes, not let one little slip up happen, because with that one little slip up, the Timbers will take advantage and punish you for it. So whether it's on the defensive side, or if you get an opportunity, if you're Hafa Navajo or any of these offensive players, when the opportunity comes around, make sure you're dialed in, fully tuned in to make sure you take advantage of the opportunity and put Portland away as soon as you can. And if not later in the match, right? As like we said, as the match wears on, they're going to tire out at some point. They're going to feel the altitude in their legs, in their head as well. Take advantage when your opportunities come up, and limit the opportunities when Portland has them, and with the shape that you have defensively, particularly in rest defense.
Yeah, reward yourselves, right?
Yeah.
Reward yourselves when you are in attack, when you are creating chances, when you are playing against a team, who I do think can get stretched from back to front. Reward yourselves, punish them at altitude, because we know how those lungs and legs are going to start to go late, and that'll be interesting too. It'll be, the Gaffer's first home match in charge, which will be fun to see. But yeah, go and play with that personality and mentally stay tuned in, because you start making these, careless, loose passes. That's, you're going to just feed into what Portland wants, that chaos that Phil Neville wants them to bring. So take that away from them. Go play with personality, and go do it from minute one, from the opening whistle, and you set yourself up really, really well on a nice sunny afternoon here on Saturday.
Oh, dude. Afternoon kicks. Can we do this a little more often?
I would love to.
I'd be down for it, man. Like,
I'll do it every game.
I could get
I
home
don't care
before
if it's
midnight.
July and August. I'm not playing anymore.
Easy for us to say.
Yeah.
I could get home before midnight. It'd be nice.
Ooh.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. When you have afternoon kicks, we have things, or evening kicks rather, 7:30 kicks.
Yeah.
We got stuff to do.
Stay
on
up
the
late.
content
You gotta
side of
stay up
things.
late.
Yeah, it's the gig. I listen. I enjoy what I do. I just get home after midnight more often than not. That's the one downside of it.
Old
But
man
I
wants to
enjoy
go
what
to
I do.
bed earlier than that. You know?
Yeah. So again, that's where I'm gonna put heavy emphasis on these afternoon kicks because I don't mind them.
Yeah, I love it.
And the sun's out, and you just enjoy the good weather. It's just uncharacteristically warm here in Colorado
That's all
this
right.
winter,
That's
but
all
I
right.
will take it at least
Yeah.
just for this Saturday.
Keep it coming.
Just for this Saturday, like I mentioned earlier, this Saturday, February 28th, is that the match between the Colorado Rapids and the Portland Timbers, the home opener for your Burgundy boys. That match is at 2:30 p.m. Mountain Time, like I said, here at Dick's Sporting Goods Park. You can catch it on Apple TV, but what am I going to say, Joe?
Come to the stadium. Come to the park. Enjoy the boys in Burgundy live. Good food, good drinks, the sun, the sound.
All right, we're running out
gonna
of
be
things to say. So yeah, no, but honestly, like everybody just come to the stadium because that's something I always love, just like the live stadium experience, like
Awesome. here. It
watching
really
a football
is.
match live with other people and enjoying the environment that is. My goodness, I could go on and on about it, but I won't because we have to close out the show and move on to do bigger and better things. So that's gonna do it from myself and my good friend here, the Rapids legend Drew Moore. My thanks to producer Miles in the back. On the production side of things, I've been your host, Mike Ravolo. That's going to do it for us for this edition of the Colorado Rapids podcast. Like I said, get out to Dick's Sporting Goods Park this Saturday, guys. It's home opener, the start of a new season, new exciting season under this Matt Wells coach side. So we will catch you guys on the next one. Have a good week, everybody.